the second hour. The second hour. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday, by the way. Dr. Peter Glidden here. 866-582-9933 is the number to call. Let's go to Utah now and talk to Sandy. Hey, Sandy, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden. The past 2 years, have been dealing with some pretty bad health issues caused by the Marina IUD.
Wow, ouch.
Okay, so you're going to believe me when I say that? Because a lot of doctors won't believe me.
Well, yeah, no, there are a lot of lawsuits against this. The Marina IUD, by the way, it's manufactured by Bayer, right? That's one of my least favorite drug companies of all time. Ectopic pregnancies, intrauterine pregnancies, perforation of the uterine wall or the cervix, pelvic inflammatory disease, serious infections, irregular spotting, ovarian cysts, pelvic pain, to name a few, are all of the known side effects of this intrauterine contraceptive, right?
Right. On top of totally messing up your endocrine system and your hormone system, and which affects everything. And so you are left with all the autoimmune symptoms, and sometimes diagnosed with them, even though you don't have them. Anxiety, terribly bad. Adrenal issues. Nightmares. I mean, I developed a lump in my throat I've had for 2 years, and I know it has to do something with my thyroid and my hormones, but it won't go away. Nodules all over from my esophagus, down my esophagus, in my stomach, ulcers. I have a nodule on my thyroid.
Great.
Great, yeah. I've been, for 18 months, I've had it out, and my body crashed when I got it out, and I've been slowly trying to stay real natural, eat healthy, green smoothies, tons of them. I go to homeopathic doctors, and they just don't know why I'm not getting better, because I'm trying things. I've actually been on longevity for 1 month, not seeing any improvement. In fact, I'm so sensitive, I get a buzz taking what I'm taking from longevity.
All right. Well, look, you just need to dial this in a little better, okay? And we need to put this in perspective for you, which I'm glad you called. So, how much do you weigh?
I'm 112 pounds.
Soaking wet, right? How tall are you?
5'5".
All right. And how long were you taking the Marina?
I had it for 21 months.
Okay. All right. So now, why did you take it? Was it strictly for birth control? Or don't you want to? You don't have to talk about it on air if you don't want to. But
probably like a lot of gals, the convenience, thinking, oh, we don't have to deal with the period, and then you realize how important it is to have a period, and you don't. But they lie to you. They tell you it's not hormonal. They tell you it's not systemic, and it very much is. I breastfed my baby the whole time, and it affected her. It's the devil. It's an evil, inhumane device.
All right, so the first thing you want to do is get in touch with a lawyer, and I just did a quick Google search for this, and there's a number of law firms around the country that are handling these cases. So I would get in touch with a law firm that's dealing with complaints like yours against Bayer, specifically for this drug, and see if you have standing there, because, that's free to you. It's no skin off your neck. When law companies work for people like this, it's, they work for free on a contingency basis. So,
I've done that. Yeah.
Well, specifically against Marina?
Yes, and they will take your case if it has perforated through your uterus or caused you surgery or things like that. But for the psychological damage it does and autoimmune things, they won't take your case yet.
All right, that's interesting. All right, so you want to document everything that you're feeling somehow, because in the future, if they do, then you've got standing. All right, but in any event, all right. So how long ago did you stop it?
18 months. I stopped it.
All right. Now, before you took this, did you have any hormonal problems, like you had, funky periods or irregular periods or mood swings or ovarian cysts or anything like that?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And were you getting your menstrual cycle on a regular basis? Was it, every month like clockwork, more or less?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So what we do here, right, is lean on the fundamental supposition that your body has the ability to fix itself, that your body knows how to fix itself, and all of your organs are intact. Nothing's been removed, right? Your uterus and ovaries are still present?
They're still present. They wanted to take out my gallbladder and my thyroid, and I refused. So I still have everything right now.
All right. So now that makes you the smartest girl in Utah. No kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, right? Oh, yeah, let's just take it out. It's a problem. Let's take it out. Let's take it out. For goodness sake, you know, I don't know. I'm a big sci-fi fan, Star Wars and Star Trek and, you know, Battlestar Galactica. I'm all over that stuff. Love it. And in the Star Trek series, one of the Star Trek series, Star Trek The Next Generation, they had this whole civilization of evil people, and they were half people and half machines, right? They were called the Borg. They were half human beings and half machines. And I swear to God, that is the ultimate end road of allopathic reductionistic MD therapy, right? So, you know, a person's born, well, got to cut off the breasts because that will prevent breast cancer from happening. Got to take out the appendix so we don't get appendicitis. Oh, you can live without the gallbladder, so let's remove that. It's only a matter of time before the hips go, so let's put fake hips on the child right at birth. Oh, you don't need those knees. Let's put titanium knees in. Let's put titanium shoulders. I mean, for goodness sake. This is the end road of allopathic reductionism, half man, half machine, and it's insanity. I mean, it's just insanity. Now, look, you know, for goodness sake, you're in a drive-by shooting in Chicago, heaven forbid, and the bullet goes through your gallbladder. You need the gallbladder removed, and they've got good surgical procedures that can do that. Every once in a while, you need the surgery, right? But I'm very glad that you stayed away from that nonsense because, you know, honestly, it's just nonsense. Okay, so given the fact that everything's intact, that gives us a better chance than not to support and promote the structure and function of your body and to see how far back we can make things bounce. So remember, all of your hormones are made from cholesterol. That's what they're made from. So one of your dietary strategies here is going to be consuming foods that are high in cholesterol, right? Okay. So, I mean, you're 110 pounds soaking wet. You want to have 3-4 eggs a day. And when you get tired of having eggs, you know, have a rare steak or a rare hamburger or chicken with the skin or turkey with the skin or cheese or full-fat yogurt or an avocado or 2 or 3 or something that's high in cholesterol. Man, I want you to be going after cholesterol like it's gold bullion, all right? Just go crazy for cholesterol for 90 days. I mean, go crazy for cholesterol for 90 days. And don't worry. There are no illnesses that are caused by too much cholesterol. It doesn't exist. There are some illnesses that will cause your cholesterol to get too high, but even then, that's not a bother. You don't have to worry about cholesterol. It's your friend, and all of your sex hormones are made from it. Your body is craving cholesterol right now because it's trying to rebalance and sort out its hormones. It needs cholesterol to do that. Number 2, I'd like you to start, if you haven't already, to use iodized table salt on your food. And I don't care if it's sea salt or Celtic salt or Himalayan salt or Morton's table salt, as long as there's iodine has been added to it, okay? I want you to start salting your food so that it tastes good. I mean, carry a little salt shaker around in your purse, so if you're out at a restaurant and they don't have salt, a lot of them don't even have salt on the table anymore. You can be salting your food so that it tastes good. And you want to salt your food so that it tastes good, right? Don't just do a little bit. Do a little bit and then taste it. Ooh, I need a little more. Do a little bit. Oh, and taste it. Ooh, that's just right. I want you to salt your food so that it tastes good, and don't worry about it. Your thyroid needs the iodine that's in the salt, all right? Now, there are 10 foods. Are you aware of the 10 foods that we recommend people stop eating? Are you up to speed with that or not?
Very much so. The weed, I haven't, but I did take a tissue test less than a year ago, and I'm not flatlined, so I know I'm absorbing, but I'm very strict on eating healthy. All
right. Well, you have to stop eating wheat. I'm sorry. You just have to.
Right. Okay.
So you've done that. You're not eating wheat. You're not eating barley. You're not eating rye. You're not eating oats. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Good girl. All right, so you've got the diet straightened out. I want you to be salting your food and eating food that's rich in cholesterol, number 1. Number 2, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine that's part of the Healthy Start Pack, at 100 pounds, very sensitive, here's what I would recommend you do. I want you to put 1 level scoop of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in at least 20 ounces of water. 1 level scoop in at least 20 ounces of water. You can do more. You can do 32 ounces if you want. Do 22. I don't care. It's got to be at least 20 ounces of water, and I want you to take at least 1 hour to drink that down. Don't just shoot it down, and don't do it in less than 20 ounces. And I want you to do that twice a day. If you dilute the Beyond Tangy Tangerine to that degree and drink it slowly, then you won't get a buzz from it. And it'll be way better for you because it absorbs into your system more evenly and more steadily, and it's a much smarter way to take that stuff, especially if you're female and 110 pounds sopping wet. All right? So 1 level scoop in a boatload of water. Take at least an hour to drink it, and do that twice a day. The white liquid calcium, the OsteoFX Plus, I would like you, please, to put 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium, 1 ounce, in 2 to 4 ounces of orange juice, 2 to 4 ounces of orange juice, or 2 to 4 ounces of water. Orange juice is better, not from concentrate, orange juice, immediately before bed. Immediately before bed. Now, if the orange juice jazzes you up and makes you wake up, then you can do the liquid calcium in water immediately before bed, and you can just shoot that down. You don't have to take, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes to drink it. You can just take the orange juice mixture or the liquid calcium mixture and just shoot it right down. And I want you to do 1 ounce of that stuff either in water or orange juice immediately before bed. The essential fatty acids are part of the Healthy Start Pack. You need to do 3 of them a day, and I want you to do those with food, and I don't care how you do that. 1 with breakfast, 1 with lunch, 1 with dinner, or 3 with lunch, 3 with dinner, 2 with lunch, 1 with dinner. I don't care. 3 a day with food. The next thing I want you to do, and we're up against the break here, is the Ultimate Selenium. I want you to do 3 capsules twice a day between meals. 3 caps twice a day between meals. And I'm going to finish this up with you when we come back. Thanks for the call. Ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden, 866-582-9933 is the number to call. We're talking to Sandy from Utah, who has been victimized by a bad intrauterine device, of which there are now class action lawsuits against, but her symptoms were not severe enough to make her a candidate for the class action, so she just has to suffer in silence. Well, thank God for the radio program, because she don't need to be silent no more. And that's what we're talking about. All right, Sandy, are you still here?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, so we got the Beyond Tangy Tangerine dialed in. We've got the OsteoFX Plus dialed in. We've got the EFA Plus dialed in. And the last thing I spoke about was selenium. I want you to do 6 a day between meals. Now, if 3 at once is too much, then you can do 2 between breakfast and lunch, 2 between lunch and dinner, and 2 between dinner and bedtime. That might be a better thing to do. It's harder for people to do things 3 times a day than it is 2 times a day, but, you might, whatever works. I want you to get 6 down the hatch between meals.
Okay.
Now, the last thing that I would, by the way, why do we do that? We do that to support and promote the function of your thyroid gland and your liver. Your liver and your thyroid love selenium, and there's also copper in there, and your thyroid loves copper. So your thyroid needs iodine. You're getting that from salt and selenium and copper in order to be healthy and happy. And so the Ultimate Selenium has both the selenium and the copper that your thyroid needs, and it has the selenium that your liver needs. And your liver is intimately related with the, what's the correct word? The metabolism of hormones in your body, right? Hormones are secreted by different endocrine organs. Hormones are secreted by the uterus and the ovaries and the thyroid gland and your adrenal glands and your pituitary gland and your thymus. And they circulate through the blood and they go through the liver, and the liver regulates them to a certain degree. So in order to have healthy hormones, we have to have a healthy liver. And the selenium will make your liver very healthy and very happy. Your liver loves selenium. I mean, if selenium was a man, your liver would marry it, all right? I mean, it loves it. Now, the last thing I want you to do to round this all out is give your body...
Is it okay? Sorry, real quick. Is it okay if I mix that with applesauce? Because I can't swallow the pills because of this lump in my throat. Will that mess it up?
No, not at all. No problem. The only thing that will mess it up is if you're eating grains, or no, not grains, but food that has phytates in it. P-H-Y-T-A-T-E. Phytates are found in legumes. They're found in some vegetables. They're found in peanuts. They're found in rice and beans. But they're not found in applesauce. And this is why I want you to take the selenium between meals. Because if you swallow, like if you do some rice and beans and you swallow the selenium with the meal, the phytates that are in the rice will bind to the selenium and make it much harder for your body to absorb it. So, but applesauce, no problem. Bananas, no problem. Fruit, no problem. An apple, yogurt, I don't care. As long as it doesn't have phytates in it, you can do it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Now, the last thing is more hormone support, and we do that with the HGH Youth Complex. HGH Youth Complex. It's a capsule of stacked amino acids, and your hormones will suck that stuff up like nobody's business. And it will really, this program really gives your body everything that it needs in order to balance and regulate its hormones and, quite frankly, everything else, because, hey, everything's connected in the holistic method. Now, the recommendation for the HGH is 6 before bed. Now, the HGH capsules are not small. So if taking, and you're 110 pounds soaking wet, so if taking 6 at once, before bed is too much for you, then you can do 3 before bed and 3 with breakfast, okay? 3 before bed and 3 with breakfast. That might be a more reasonable dosage schedule for you anyway. So now that I'm saying it out loud, that's what I'd like you to do, Sandy. 3 at bedtime and 3 with breakfast, okay? So that's all that I want you to do for 3 months. And what would perhaps be prudent is to write down, as soon as we hang up, all of the things that are bothering you. Oh, anxiety and panic attacks, restless legs, nightmares, heartburn, whatever it is that's bothering you. And give that particular symptom a grade, from 1 to 10. 10 being, oh my God, take me to the hospital now, I'm dying, right? Give the symptom a grade. And once a week, check in with yourself and give that same symptom a grade. And that way you'll be able to see over time whether you're improving or not. And we expect improvement. We lean on improvement. Improvement is our best friend here. That's what we want to see. Something getting better quickly. So check it out, Sandy. Give that program a try. And call me back every couple of weeks with a report. I'll look forward to that. And thank you for the trust. So, for those of you that have been listening for a while, you know that I am a would-be, wannabe amateur astronomer, and I tell you to keep looking up, don't I? Well, my advice is going to reward, you're going to be rewarded this weekend. Starting tonight, there's a brand new comet in the western skies. It's called Comet Pan-STARRS. How about that? And you can see it right around twilight if you have an unobstructed view to the west. If you have a pair of binoculars, that's not bad either. So if it's clear, not cloudy, and you have an unobstructed view of the horizon at sunset, go out right around sunset and stick around for about a half an hour after sunset and look to the western sky, and you will see a comet resting just a little bit above the horizon. If you've never seen a comet before, it's really quite cool to look at. Kind of breathtaking, actually. And if you have a nice pair of binoculars and you look at the comet through the binoculars, even better. So check it out. That's starting tonight, more or less through the end of March. Comets don't come around all of the time. They're actually a pretty rare event. Maybe one visible comet, maybe once every 2-3 years. So check it out. Nature is at its most magnificent, I think, when we're dealing with the heavens. So check it out. Comet Pan-STARRS coming to your neighborhood now if you live in the northern hemisphere. Just look to the west a little bit after sunset, and you're going to love what you see. Check it out. All right, so again, the number here to call me and talk to me live, 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. And the number to call if you're listening to the podcast or would like information about the health opportunity or the business opportunity, 855-347-3696, 855-347-3696. So let's do a little recap, a little review of what's gone on this week. Well, we started the week with Clint Miller telling us about the whole testimonial thing. And the sad fact of the matter is that as holistic physicians, I could have 1,000 patients who have had type 2 diabetes before they came to see me, definitive diagnosis with the blood work to prove it, get on board with my medical nutrition blood sugar recovery program, the program that we recommend to support and promote the structure and function of your blood in relationship to being able to metabolize sugar. And within 3 months, the blood sugar type 2 diabetes has disappeared. It's gone. It's no longer there. As is evidenced by blood work, I could have 1,000 patients just like that, and I would not be able, if those patients wrote a testimonial and I posted it on my website, the FDA could find me or arrest me or make my life a living hell, right? Because it's illegal for people to in a written form, post their testimonial somewhere, especially if it's in relationship to a nutritional supplement, right? You can't do it. Drug companies can do it for drugs. Just look at the direct-to-consumer ads at night on TV. By the way, the reason that dentists can do it, I'm not really sure why dentists can do it. I guess because teeth whitening, the ads that you see dentists run are for teeth whitening. And teeth yellowing is not a disease. And obesity weight gain has not yet been categorized as a disease. So Jenny Craig and Weight Watchers and the ilk can have their customers, right, give testimonials on the TV. Well, my name's Sally and I lost 50 pounds following this particular weight loss program because being, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight is not a disease. So they can get away with it. But when we're talking about things like type 2 diabetes and asthma and arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, attention deficit disorder, et cetera, we cannot post testimonials, and that's just, a crying shame. We should be able to do that. Now, why on earth do you think, and we have a bill now, Clint Miller has sponsored a bill that you can download on my website. Just go to the website, and right there on the front page, click on the link that says Clint Miller. You'll be taken to a page where you can download the bill and a form letter that you can fill out and send to my office. We're collecting them at my office, and then once we get 500 of them, we're going to ship them off to Congress. We're going to ship them all to Rand Paul's office, and we're going to attempt to get Senator Rand Paul to sponsor this bill, and then once we have Senator Paul sponsoring the bill or whomever else will step up and do it, then we do the same thing with your local state senators and get them to co-sponsor the bill, and we're going to generate a grassroots coalition of politically motivated people here to get a law passed that makes it legal, perfectly okay, for you, me, or anybody else, including vitamin companies, to post testimonials about what their customers experienced with the wonders of medical nutrition. And guess who doesn't want this to happen? Well, it's the drug companies. And why don't they want this to happen? Because, as I've said before, and I will continue to say until I'm dead and buried, heaven forbid, if by some genie in the bottle magic we were all to wake up tomorrow and there would be equal access to naturopathic medicine, equal research money given to naturopathic medical doctors, if there were just as many naturopathic doctors in the world as there are MDs, if it was all of a sudden a level playing field, and we all had the same legal privileges, we were all paid the same rates by insurance, and everybody in the United States, in Canada, in Australia, in Europe, in France, everywhere, if everybody had access to holistic medicine, science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, and your insurance paid for the nutritional supplements, imagine what a wonderful world that would be. If that were the case, within 5 years, medical doctors practicing in general practice would be out of a job. They'd all be out of a job, and all these specialists would be out of a job. The cardiac specialists, the arthritis specialists, the dermatologists, the neurologists, all of these people would be out of jobs. The only people that would still have jobs would be the surgeons, the emergency room medical doctors, and the trauma docs. The military field doctors. They'd still have jobs because that's their domain. But the pharmaceutical company does not want there to be a level playing field because they know that if there was, they'd be out of business. They would lose the lion's share of business. The only way that they keep the lion's share of business is by keeping all of their competitors out of the market. For goodness sake, you've got to be kidding me, right? I'm a licensed naturopathic physician. In Seattle, I can prescribe drugs, deliver babies, perform minor surgery, call myself a physician, order any diagnostic test I want. And it's all paid for by insurance. Pretty great. And not bad to live in Washington State if you like holistic medicine. Insurance does not, however, pay for vitamins and homeopathy and the treatments. It'll pay for drugs, but it won't pay for the treatments that naturopathic doctors recommend unless the naturopathic doctor prescribes a drug. How about that? We can prescribe drugs in the great state of Washington. Imagine that. You know how many times I've needed to prescribe a drug in 20 years of clinical work? Less than 10. And half of those times it didn't work. I wish I didn't do it. That was when I didn't know what I didn't know. See? The sword cuts both ways and the circle completes itself. But my point is, in Chicago, in Illinois, I can't even call myself a doctor. But in Washington State, I can perform minor surgery and prescribe drugs. Legally call myself a physician. That's not right, that I can do that in Seattle but not in Chicago. As a matter of fact, my profession is only licensed and regulated in 16 states in the United States. And if that doesn't piss you off, I don't know what will. I mean, if you're not angry, you're just not paying attention. And, there's a time for anger. I mean, wasn't it Christ that upset the tables at the temple, the moneylender tables? I mean, there's a time to get pissed off. Now, I'm not advocating, militancy. I'm not advocating, a takeover of the drug companies, not at all. But I'm saying there is a time to draw a line in the sand and say this far and no further. For goodness sake, direct your anger into political action. Go to fireyourmdnow.com. Click on the Clint Miller link right there on the front page. Download the form letter, sign it, and send it to my office, and we will make a difference here. We will make a difference. We will get this law passed. And that's going to be a big, a gut shot into Big Pharma. A gut shot into Big Pharma. Because the last thing they want is for anybody to be able to tell anybody in writing about their wonderful experience with vitamins. For goodness sake. That's the pharmaceutical company's worst nightmare. So you want to make a difference? You want to throw a punch? You want to throw another punch? You want to throw a roundhouse kick? Download the form. Send it to everybody in your office. Send it to everybody in your church. Send it to everybody in your family. Have everybody in your life sign the form and send it. Talk about grassroots. This is what we're all about, ladies and gentlemen. We can make a difference. The Proxmire bill took, 16 years to pass? The Proxmire bill is the law that allowed vitamin companies to manufacture high-potency vitamins. Guess who didn't want them to do that? The drug companies. Why wouldn't the drug company want someone to have access to high-potency vitamins? Because vitamins work better than drugs. They didn't want that nonsense. They want to own the show. It's their show. It's their monopoly. They want to be the only ones that sell hamburgers in the state, right? Imagine what it would be like if your state passed a law that said the only people that can, sell hamburgers is McDonald's, nobody else gets to sell a hamburger in your state, there'd be outrage. But that's what they've done with medicine, and we don't do anything because we've all drunk the Kool-Aid for 100 years and we just accept it as rote. Well, that's just the way that it is. Well, it's not the way that it is. It's not the way that it can be. It's the way that it is. It's not the way that it should be. It's not the way that it can be. And we need to join together here in a coalition of the informed and make a difference. So download the petition, sign it, send it to my office, send it to everybody in your life, and let's get going here. I mean, how long is that going to take? 5 minutes? Not even. For goodness sake, check it out. Download the form, sign the form, send the form. How hard is that? Get everybody in your family to do the same thing. And this is step one of our, testimonial solution. Take back the night. Draw the line in the sand. Testimonial health recovery testimonials with medically science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. And this is a good cause to be involved with here, right? I think so. And God bless Clint Miller, for goodness sake, 91 years old. 91 years old, still going strong. By the way, Clint Miller is the guy that made it, that made medical doctors have to get your consent before they did experiments on you. Now, if for no other reason other than to thank Clint Miller for doing that, you should download this form. He was the one that did that. Made it a law passed that medical doctors can't do experiments on you unless they get your consent. How's that? It's pretty good. You want to thank Clint Miller? Download the form, sign it, send it to my office, tell everybody in your life to do exactly the same thing. And this is how we're going to change the law here and give a gut shot to Big Pharma. That would feel pretty good, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. We're going to round this out with one last phone call today. Ms. Harris wants to know why no wheats, oat, rye. Thanks for the call, Ms. Harris. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Yes, I hear the commentary about doing without wheat, oats, or rye in one's diet. But then again, if you do that, then what kind of a bread should one be using in their diet?
Okay, so any gluten-free bread is fine. Now, the prohibition against wheat, barley, rye, and oats is solely because the protein contained in those grains is called gluten, G-L-U-T like Thomas, E-N.
Yes.
And gluten ostensibly is very, very difficult, if not impossible, for the digestive juice in the stomach to digest.
Yeah.
And, so we don't recommend anybody eat it. So what's the workaround? Well, the workaround is breads or any type of a flour that's not made from wheat, barley, rye, and oats. So you can use rice flour, teff flour, tapioca flour, corn flour, a buckwheat flour. Buckwheat is not wheat. People make that mistake often. Buckwheat is not wheat. You can use buckwheat flour. And if you just do a Google search for gluten-free flour, you'll be surprised at what you find. And even just 1 year ago, because I've been on the gluten-free train now for about 4 years, right? And 1 year ago even, it wasn't the easiest thing in the world to find gluten-free bread or gluten-free flour, especially gluten-free pancake mix or gluten-free flour mix. It was hard. But it's easy now. I mean, I'm getting stuff in my email all the time, and I go to Whole Foods, I go to the health food store. For goodness sake, I even go to the normal grocery store here in Chicago. It's called Meijer, and they've got a whole aisle of gluten-free stuff, and every couple of months there's a new product there. So the gluten-free industry in the United States is growing rapidly. Just do a little Google search for gluten-free flours. Now, I will tell you that the gluten, the protein gluten, makes wheat flour elastic and pliable, and it makes, like your bread fluffy, and, your French baguette fluffy, and, crunchy on the outside, fluffy in the middle. Gluten-free flour is different, and because it's different, the gluten-free breads and stuff tend to be cakey and thick, more like a pound cake than anything else. It's tricky to be able to get good-tasting gluten-free bread, good tasting gluten-free pancakes, but we do it. I mean, we do it. In my house, we do it. And you can find gluten-free bread that actually tastes good. But my challenge to people, to you and to everybody else in the listening audience, experiment in your own kitchen with gluten-free bread recipes, gluten-free waffle recipes, gluten-free pancake recipes. And when you think you've got a winner, let me know.
Well,
go ahead.
I apologize. I was under the impression that when the bread is light and fluffy and hard on the outside, it's because of the yeast that was used in the processing of the cooking.
Yeah, yeast is a piece of the puzzle of making a good tasting bread. But when you remove the gluten, the dough is no longer elastic and pliable, and it makes for kind of a lumpy, dense loaf, no matter how much yeast you put in it.
Well, Dr. Glidden, I appreciate your frankness and factuality about what you're talking about as far as alternatives go.
Well, it makes you the smartest girl in class.
Well, for one thing, even though I tend to be an organic vegetarian, I don't generally have a problem with processing wheat protein to start with. But I do sometimes have questions, especially with GMOs, as far as the grains are concerned.
Well, so here's an experiment I want you to do. And it's possible you're in, the 15 to 20% that is okay with gluten. But here's what I would challenge you to do. For 10 days in a row, don't have any wheat at all. Zero tolerance for wheat, barley, rye, or oats for 10 days in a row. Don't even look at it. And then on day 11... all I want you to eat is wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Just eat, pancakes for breakfast, bagel for lunch, pasta for dinner, cookies, crackers, donuts for snacks, and see how you feel on day 11. And if you skate through day 11, no problem, and you're good to go with gluten. Yeah, no, I call it the Dr. Glidden Challenge. In any event, Ms. Harris, we are completely out of time. I appreciate your kind words. It's a good way to end up the week here. Thanks so much for the phone call. Thank you even more for listening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Looking forward to talking to you next week. Until then, keep looking up.